Imagine you're there at the end of the month. You are busy working on your business, doing the work that you need to do in your business before you have any chance to work in your business. And now it's time to focus on your social media. You may be someone who enjoys marketing or has made marketing your business a hobby of yours, something that you do in your free time outside of running a business. I'm aware that free time does not exist for anyone who is building a personal brand or growing a business. I'm aware, but stick with the story here. And you've reached the end of the month and you are exhausted. You are tired, you are burnt out or reaching the point of burnt out. And adding social media on your list of to-dos just feels an absolute toil and nightmare. And you ultimately just want to say, no, F this, and walk away. But you haven't posted in a week. You're getting matterings from some of your friends and business owners and maybe even some of the people in your life who don't run businesses and say, oh, I haven't seen you on Instagram recently, or I haven't seen any of your posts recently. What's going on? They become concerned for you and worried for you, and you're just tired. There is so much work to do in marketing your business alone, let alone actually working in your business. And I want to show you a way of thinking about and hopefully utilizing content that you have in the past, that you've already posted, you've already put the work in, to be able to reduce that stress and overwhelm for you. If you're tired of the old cookie cutter marketing advice and want to take your personal brand to the next level with bold, actionable strategies that truly reflect you, you're in the right place. Let's untangle your marketing mayhem with Zoe, the video confidence coach, on the Unboring Your Brand podcast. Unboring Your Brand was recorded on Wadawurrung land. But the reason that I'm talking about this today is because I had one of contacts that I went to at a networking event. We were chortling all about so marketing, other things like that. This person is a therapist and also has their fingers in a lot of different pies, as well as say life coach, your Reiki, your alternative therapy. So you've got a lot going on in the business. And they said, as soon as I introduced myself, I'm Zoe, the video confidence coach. I help connect the dots with your marketing strategies using the power of video. That's kind of the elevator pitch that I'm working with right now, but I digress. And she immediately, her eyes opened wide, she immediately beelined for me and pulled me aside to have a chat about her social media. And she immediately came to me with concerns, and I totally understand. Social media has changed very rapidly in the past 15 years since its initial spike of user interest, people getting more engaged with the internet and in turn social media apps. And then the prominent rise, everything not became bogged down, but because it was cheaper to advertise on those platforms, grow on those platforms, but also crash and burn on those social media platforms compared to, say, other forms of marketing yourself and possibly more stable options like a website, like an email list, or there are other ways of marketing that are slightly more stable than relying solely on those ads from places like Facebook or Reddit, Instagram, all those lovely places, LinkedIn especially. And then now we're hitting very much a saturation point where almost everyone has at least one account on a social media platform. A lot of people have, as you can imagine, multiple accounts that they monitor, that they update, that they regularly post content to, feeding the beast, as it were, almost every day. And there is a very large and growing cohort of people just saying, nah, this is too hard, it's too stressful, it's impacting my mental health, nah, bye, thank you, peace out. Now, everything that I've just described can be quite overwhelming, and I do not blame you. But when it comes to marketing your social media, utilizing the free platforms, however non-effective they are compared to what they were doing, say, 5 years ago, is still useful for your business. And when it comes to social media, I like to think about social media as a very low bottom of the list of priorities when it comes to marketing your business. The reason being is because the platforms consistently churn over content. And when I say churn over content, you could post something, and you may have noticed this, especially within the past 3 years, that when you've posted something on, say, Facebook, you might get some interaction, some engagement, some people seeing your post, some people liking, maybe even commenting. And then that quickly goes away within realistically 2 to 3 hours at max of your post being shared. Now, this is no matter what you're doing. And of course, there are always plenty of new tools within each of these apps. So say, for example, as they get larger, like for example, Instagram Reels are very popular within the space because a lot of people engage with them. But at the end of the day, with everything that we're discussing, especially about social media, but in marketing in general, it is designed to capture attention, gain trust, and get you leads. And a lot of the work that people are doing and the energy and effort that people are doing on social media in particular does not result to leads, does not result to people paying. Now, I'm perfectly aware, and hopefully you should be too, that there are so many steps between someone being aware of your brand to actually purchasing and spending money with you. There are so many steps. And of course, in turn, there is a lot of work for you to do as the marketer, or even as the leader of your business, delegating this to someone else. Because when you are delegating something to someone else, you need to know what they need to achieve. You need to know the goals. You need to have an idea of what you're actually asking them to do. And if you do not know how they are going to do it, then you can't realistically give them an end goal target. So I've been working with some corporate teams, and when we initially sat down, it was very clear after a bit of teasing out that they weren't exactly sure what they wanted. They just know that, for example, their social media presence was lacking and they weren't getting any and all traction from it. So, of course, I had a look at it and then came to the meeting in person. In-person meetings are fun. And I addressed their concerns and their issues and yes, it's not providing the return. Ultimately, I would like to know, what was social media meant to do for you? What was it meant to do for your company? Was it meant to generate leads? Okay, well, it's clearly not doing that. How much energy and effort is being put into these posts? I see that a post is one image post is going up once a week from posts that were created about a year ago, and they've just been cycling through those over the year. Sure, you're there, you're present. Does social media get you leads? And I asked them about in the past, have they been able to guarantee leads from social media? We're not talking ads, we're not talking actively investing money into the platform. And they said, not really, it's more of an awareness tool for us. Then in that case, where should your focus be? And we continue to talk more about their overall marketing strategy, not just what social media did for them. And we eventually got to the point and we realized that their email list can guarantee they send out an email once a week on the dot, very consistently, and they get a minimum of 15 sales per email that they sent out. Now, of course, they've got a very large email marketing list. They've got multiple different segments, and they've honed this and grown this over the past 6 years that they've been in business. Now, is social media something that they could definitely invest more money in? Sure, you could say that about any aspect of your marketing or your business in general. Anything that you put more money and more time into, you're going to get returns. But ultimately, if you've got something that works, like your email list, it is better to focus on that with the small budget, time, and energy that you have on hand. And again, this is a larger organization with a department specifically for marketing. When you are a solo business owner or someone who is running a personal brand, you are just you, and you are just working on it for yourself. So, with that all in mind, that we have gone down a couple of tangents already in this podcast episode, I wanted to talk about repurposing your content. Now, you've probably, however long ago you launched your business, I'm going to tell you now that there are going to be posts that have clearly worked and clearly haven't worked. things that have gotten traction for you over time and things that maybe just didn't work for you. You trialed maybe a couple of different formats, and maybe you trialed different ways of showcasing your values, showcasing your services and your products. You've been doing that work in the background. Now it's time to actually put that work to use. So what you can do is repurposing content. Now, of course, I'm sure you have heard about this before. Repurposing content is a tried and true tactic that has been used through marketing for centuries. People, once they find something that works, they continue to push and maybe even grow that aspect once it works. And when it comes to social media, it is rented land, and as it's shown over the past, realistically 5 years, the organic post reach has gotten next to nothing for smaller and for new business owners. And I say that's understandable because the investors who are propping up these platforms are starting to ask for their money now. It's been, they've given rounds and rounds and rounds of billions of dollars worth of funding, and they're wanting their money now. So, of course, a lot of companies and a lot of tech companies, as you may have noticed over the past 2 years, have all of a sudden started making you pay for things that were once free, or making the experience that was free, or maybe still is free, a lot worse, so you pay for a better experience because they want money, and of course they do. But when it comes to the focus that you have on social media, I want you to think holistically in regards to your time and energies. Is it something for people who are in that awareness stage of you and your business and your marketing so that they can be reminded ultimately that you exist? That if they're interested in your products or services, and for example, maybe they've researched you, or you've come across them, or you've been recommended by them. Most people, when they are researching a company, one of the top 3 things that they do after looking at your website, or searching you online using Google, Bing, DuckDuckGo, all those places, once they've looked through that, social media is usually the 3rd thing that they do after they check, so possibly whoever recommended your business or however you were recommended online. They go to your website first because your website usually contains the information that they're willing to look for. But for a lot of people, they go to social media first as just a litmus test, because when they've come across you, they are usually on the social media platforms themselves. And quickly Googling or quickly searching your name within the search bar of the platform, and you lead a result, and you're there, and they can see that you've posted within the past fortnight, within the past week, that they can see that you're active. They can see that, okay, awesome, cool, this isn't just a dead business. Because that's what social media that I've seen in the past, where clients have come to me and they haven't posted for months. It's understandable. It's not a priority for you. I totally understand. But it does make your business look dead. It does concern people that, they haven't posted in 2 months. Maybe they're not open right now. And again, I've had that myself in my own business, where I've just been busy doing my own thing, working on client work, or maybe, for example, focusing on my mental or physical health. And I've taken time off social media because it's my lowest priority for me. Yes, it sucks and it doesn't look great on my end, but that's a priority I'm willing to live with. I'm willing to focus on my email list of people who know, like me, and trust me. And majority of the people who, if I don't meet them at a networking event, I get on my email list. They come to me via my email list, which I have grown and cultivated over time. And when it comes to repurposing your content and social media in general, the point of it is to keep your brand top of mind. And repurposing that content that has worked in the past helps you from burning out. And not every post that you are going to post is going to be brand new. Hey, there's been a couple of months where I've just reused content that's worked in the past. And of course, it may not look as fresh to you because you are the one looking at it all the time. Even if you are delegating this to someone else, you are still looking at that stuff all the time and you get bored with it. You might get bored with the colors, with the look, with the feel. But new customers are not going to be bored with it. They're going to be interested in what you have to offer because in those contents that you are repurposing and reusing from the past, They should show your values. They should show who your customer is and why they should care. And they should show your expertise and services on the solution that you are providing in your business. Now, I know that seems really basic stuff, Zoe, but the reason that I mention that is because this helps you decide what content to repurpose. So what you can do is, first of all, creating a content library. Going through your most popular channel, or maybe your channel, this is a social media platform, that ultimately you like using and is the one that you have maybe the most engagement on. So this is people looking and commenting and maybe even sharing your posts. Or the platform where you get the most enjoyment out of using it and therefore post a lot more often. Again, whichever way that you want to run your business and the way that you want, where you put your efforts, will dictate which platform is honestly the one that you're going to be focusing on. And then from there, you go to your insights, which are the analytics of the social media platform that you're using. And this will show you a bunch of graphs and charts and numbers, but ultimately it will show you the top 3 performing posts that you have over the past 3 months, past 6 months, past year, past 2 years. Again, you can change the dynamic in regards to what timeline you want to look at. Look at those top 5 posts and save them to your phone, save them to your computer, back them up on a hard drive if you can, because you've got this content to reuse later on down the track. And you can keep this in a library, so keep this in, say, a OneDrive or a Google Drive or somewhere where you can keep all the content together that you can access no matter if you're delegating this to someone else or if you're going to, if something happens to your computer, hopefully not, but if it does, you're still able to access this content. And again, post consistently enough to still show up. That is the goal. What is your bare minimum when it comes to social media? Is it there to bring awareness to your brand? Awesome. We will post once a week at minimum. What is your minimum? And then from that post, you can, from that library, you can use evergreen content. Again, focusing on your values, your expertise, and your services. If something is out of date, edit it out. Take it out of the video, take it out of the carousel, take it out of the post, take it out of whatever content that you're doing. Just quickly edit it out if it's not relevant to what is being, is working in your business right now. Now, of course, that takes time, but it's time that you're willing to spend to create this collection of content that you're going to reuse realistically for the next 2 to 3 years. So instead of you getting to that end of the month where you're absolutely exhausted and close to burnout, you can just, at the end of the month, I schedule the next month worth of content. I regularly engage on the platforms that I post, making sure that I comment on anyone who comments on my posts. I make sure to engage with their comments and engage with other comments that are related to other people in my field or other people that I work with or other businesses that are very heavily related to what I do, because people who like them will also like me. And of course, that is another social media strategy too, but today we're specifically talking about repurposing. And other ways to repurpose your content that's not just reposting the content again, possibly with a new or updated description, maybe using a trend or a hashtag in there as well. You can turn old blogs or old pieces of long form written content into shorter social media clips or carousels. Carousels, for those who may not know, are either a series of images or series of videos that are up to 10 clips or 10 images long that people scroll from right to left to read or continue more information about whatever you're posting about. That is a carousel. And those, I think, were originally introduced, I want to say a very long time ago, about 6 years ago now, something give or take, do not quote me on that. And it works really well, to be perfectly honest. It continues to still get a lot of traction, and a lot of people have built their social media platform using carousels. I'm going to tell you now, if you are on LinkedIn, continue to using carousels. They work really well. And of course, videos are also there in the meantime, but it depends on the energy that you have to repurpose this content that's not just reusing older content. And again, if you need to buy yourself some time, so say, for example, you're at the end of the month, you are tired, you're almost close to burnout, use 2 or 3 posts Post, twice a week if you need to for the next 2 weeks. Give yourself time to breathe, give yourself a week, then come back to it. Give yourself that opportunity to give yourself some breathing room, so then you can post ahead of time, ready to go. Going back to ways to clearly repurpose content that maybe are in different forms to utilize on your social media. You can clip podcasts or longer form live streams or videos that you have done in the past into shorter snippets. You can use this content from, for example, podcasts or live streams, maybe that you've collaborated with someone else in the past. Of course, if you aren't the owner of that content, making sure that you get permission from the people that you've collaborated with. Clearly just, reaching out either in an email or a DM or some sort of way of communicating with them and just saying, hey, I want to use this for my social media. You don't exactly need permission because of course it's your face or personal brand that's talking about your business, but you can just either give them a heads up on just say, hey, I want to use a couple of clips from this content in my social media to promote this discussion that we had 3 months ago. I'll make sure to tag you and mention your business as I promote the content. And of course, if they say no to that, that's a big red flag if they say no to that. But they're more likely to say yes because you are also advertising them as well as the work that you have done and this discussion that you've had. And also it helps, honestly, when dropping podcast links specifically or podcast snippets specifically. It allows people to check out more about your methodologies and your values in the business that you do when you post those smaller snippets, because people are more intrigued to listen to the whole thing. People's attention span is not 8 seconds. It depends on the platform. And the last thing that you can do, and this is just, again, there's plenty of things that you can do to repurpose content, but when specifically moving content from another platform to social media specifically, again, we're trying to narrow these things down, Zoe, because you're going to go on a tangent otherwise. Using quotes or images or past client testimonials is highly recommended. And yes, for example, testimonials can be a little bit on the boring side because they're just a paragraph of text, but you can easily convert those into videos. You can get an AI voice to say the words as images play on screen. Yeah, AI, we'll have a discussion about that later. And yeah, there's a couple of things that are unethical, but if necessary, you can always repurpose things and reinvigorate the content that you already have because you've already put the work in. And if you're able to delegate this to someone else, making sure that you clearly define and say, hey, we've got an entire website worth of content. I want you to, clearly pull out these pieces of content and create, 2 posts a week, specifically a carousel and a video, and making sure that these posts resonate with our target audience. Here is our target audience. Now, of course, I've given you a very detailed description, but when I've delegated with others, when I've delegated with other people's teams or with PAs, being able to give them really clear boundaries of, hey, this is what I want you to do. Here is how you're going to do it. And even if necessary, get yourself like a microphone or just dictate into your phone, throw it into ChatGPT, say, hey, explain this to someone and make sure it's a checklist. Bing, boom, like the work is done for you, and it's not that much harder to do that, to try and provide some boundaries and expectations when it comes to marketing your business when delegating to someone else. I digress. So after today's discussion, now of course we've had a very long discussion about ways to repurpose your content, and this may seem, and I'm going to say this now, that if you are still overwhelmed by social media and feeling frankly just done with social media, I would love to have a chat with you for just 15 minutes, obligation-free chat, where we can discuss about, and again, I'm not here to save you from social media, and I'm not here to be a champion for social media either. I'm here to make marketing your business easier for you, to reduce your overwhelm and to reduce your stress when it comes to making people aware of your brand and ultimately buying from you. Again, that is why we do all of this stuff at the end of the day, because we want people to like us, know us, and trust us to eventually give us money, which we can then spend to live. So when being able to put this in perspective, Your social media should not keep you up at night. It is fleeting and it moves rather quickly and also usually not to a whole lot of impact. And this is coming from someone who lives out in a mindset of a country town. We are not a country town. We are very large here down in Geelong in southern Victoria in Australia. We are fairly large, where we still have that mentality where a lot of people get their brains taken over by social media and by that dopamine dependency on a small little screen on their phone. And feeding that beast may give you positive followers, numbers, interaction, engagement. Awesome. But does that mean money for you? At the end of the day, does that mean a big change for you and your business? And if it's okay, and at the end of the day, it's okay if it doesn't. But I want you to put it into perspective when it comes to, should social media be stressing me out? No. Maybe my website, maybe my email list, and maybe any services, projects, or packages that I have for my business. Maybe the things to stress out more than the social media aspect of it. So again, repurposing and reusing content saves time, saves energy, and keeps your brand consistent, because you're using the same content from before, or using the same words, methodologies, and values that you've already used, and they're very consistent. I hope you've enjoyed today's podcast, and I hope this has been able to give you some clarity on what you can do for your social media. Again, feel free to reach out to me at the Video Confidence Coach if and whenever you want to chat about your marketing. Bye. Thank you for listening or watching Unboring Your Brand. You can find detailed show notes with tools, offers, and episode transcriptions. Just click the first link in the description or go to vcc.training/podcast. Get involved and ask me anything about personal branding, video strategy, or just a friendly small business chat via my email, g'day@vcc.training. That is gday@vcc.training. The Video Confidence Coach would like to acknowledge and pay my respects to the Wadawurrung people of the Kulin Nation, the traditional custodians of the land on which I record my podcast. I pay my respects to their elders, past and present. I stand with the traditional custodians of these lands in working towards a more equal future. Always was, always will be Aboriginal land. Look forward to me chatting at you next week, superstars.